evening, friends. How are we all doing? We are backstage with Chris Cook in Nashville in a little bit of a different setting than where we normally are because I'm using my laptop right now, and I'm going to tell you why in just a moment. But if you are brand new and you have no idea who this goofy-looking guy is on your screen, my name is Chris, better known as Chris Cook in Nashville, and here on YouTube, I have lost 130 pounds on a proper human diet. My wife has lost about 100, and I create recipes, keto, carnivore, all sorts of low-carb, fun things to help people transition and stabilize on a proper human diet. And Backstage with Chris is where you guys get to come and hang out with me. Sometimes we cook, sometimes we chat, I do question and answer, I do all sorts of different things. You just really never know what it's going to be, but you guys are here backstage with me, so appreciate you guys being here. Drop it in the chat, say hello, let me know you are here, like and subscribe while you are here, because if you don't like and subscribe, I basically have absolutely no way of convincing people to come find me or convincing YouTube that this is actually a cool thing. So would really like it if you guys would just do that for me, and we will continue to try to get the message out there as far and as wide as possible. Drop it in the chat, say hello. I would love to say hi to you guys. And before we dive in to the subject matter tonight, and before I tell you about why I'm on my laptop and what we're getting ready to do here in just a couple of minutes, I will say hello to some people in the comments. So let's see who's here. Carnivore Jerry in the house says, hey there, just to let you know, I'll be listening from work, unable to chat, sent Ash an Instagram song for her to listen to. It's good stuff. Let me know what you think. Jerry, we will, and have a great night at work. And she says, hugs to you, my sweet friend. We love you very much and appreciate you being here. Marty is here, says, won't be able to join live tonight. See you next time. Hopefully we'll see you on the replay there, Marty, and hope you have a great night, my friend. Richard Williams, our neighbor in Copper Hill, Tennessee, is here. Good to see you, my friend. There's Dustin from Keto Simple, says, good evening, friends. It's going to be a party when Dustin's in the house. Carol is here. Hello from Ohio, my second live in a row. Yay. Well, Carol, I'm so glad you were able to make it. Thank you for being here. Holly Springer in the house. Evening, friends. Dustin says, backstage etiquette rules apply. Do not touch the green M&Ms. That is correct. It's fun. Guys, we call this Backstage with Chris because if you did not know, I'm actually a professional musician. That is why I'm in Nashville. Ash is an independent country artist and songwriter and just incredible recording artist in general. And I also am a songwriter and a guitar player and a touring musician, and that's what we actually do is we're professional musicians. The whole YouTube thing happened kind of by accident. So here we are, but you guys are backstage because that's where we spend a lot of our time is getting ready to tour around the country at shows and sitting backstage waiting for our chance to step up and play. So you guys are backstage with us because it's just how things work. Roberto is here. Thanks for sharing. Good to see you, my friend. Nike is here. Made it. Good to see you, Nike. Everybody's saying hello to each other. Peggy is here. Good evening. Good to be here. It's good to see you, Peggy. I'm glad you're here. And there is my mom. Mama and Papa Nashville are in the house. Good to see you guys. And Aunt Kay is here. Good evening, all. Good to see you, Aunt Kay. Pamela is here from Oklahoma. Good to see you, Pamela. And Dustin has a great point. He says, if everyone would click share, copy the link, just doing this helps the channel so very much. If you want to paste it on your Facebook or other social media, that works even better. Absolutely. Please do that, guys. If you like what it is I do, please share it with other people so I can reach as many people as possible. And Nike says, like the stream, do it now. Yes, please do so. That tells YouTube that you like this and that they should show it to more people. Karen is here, says hello from Florida. Hello, Karen. And Emily is in the house, says, I'm here, kinda, between bedtimes. Well, it's good to see you, Emily. And there's Marie. Hi, guys, from Arizona. Good to see you, Marie. Well, guys, let me tell you about what we're doing and why I'm on my laptop. So I am tracking on my phone right now some food that is cooking over in the kitchen. And here in a minute, I'm going to be getting up. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit of a preview of one of my videos that will be coming out. Not this coming Saturday, but the next Saturday, hopefully. And it's in partnership with Tasty Air Fryers. They do some pretty cool stuff. And doing this, I am doing a fake brisket, a faux brisket in the air fryer. This has been cooking for 7.5 hours in that tasty air fryer. And I'm going to show you guys the whole process, how to make this thing incredible. And I am waiting for the probe to tell me that it has reached a certain temperature. That's what we were waiting for, and it's just about there. And here's the thing about doing any kind of big cuts of meat. They kind of stall out, and they only reach a certain temperature when they are ready to do so. You can't rush them, especially if it's big, tough cuts of meat. Now, I am not doing this with a brisket, although you can do this with a brisket. I'm doing a faux brisket or a fake brisket, a budget-friendly version, and it is going to be fantastic, and I'm going to tell you what I'm making that out of, because our subject tonight here is holiday eating on a budget, stressing less and spending less as we are getting ready to come into the holidays. And I'm going to give you guys some meats, some different cuts, some ideas, some things that you can use to have really great food and try to save some money all at the same time. And a lot of these I already have videos for. Some of them I'm still making videos for, but I can also give you some tips and ideas of how you could do this, even if I don't have a video out there. So if you have questions, please drop it in the chat. Happy to tell you whatever I can. Cheryl is here, says, hi all from Cheryl in Canada. It's good to see you, Cheryl. I hope you're having a great night. And Pauline is here. Hello from Texas. Hello to you in Texas, Pauline. Very glad you are here. Guys, do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up. Share this stream and tell people, hey, he's about to start telling you how to save money on really good food for keto and carnivore diets. You got to jump on. Let's do that right away. All right, so let's talk about our cuts. So first of all, up number one today is, excuse me, up for number one today is the amazing and humble chuck roast. And I'm pulling up my list of some foods here just to make sure I don't forget any of these that I wanted to talk with you guys about. Chuck roast. This is what I'm currently doing the fake brisket with. I'm using a chuck roast and doing a fake brisket with it, because when chuck roast goes on sale, I can get chuck roast extremely budget friendly. I got this for, I think it was like $4 and change per pound. So that's way cheaper than the brisket is around here, unless they throw the brisket on some really crazy sale. Every once in a while they do, but I really have to watch for it. Chuck roast is more readily available, it's more frequently budget friendly, and because I can get it a little smaller, I don't have to have like a giant packer brisket and figure out how to cook that, how I'm going to feed people like before that goes bad, like who's going to eat all this. It's just a little bit more manageable with a chuck roast. And chuck roast is honestly really, really good. So this is going to be really cool when you guys see this. So the chuck roast, it is one of the cheapest beef cuts per pound. You can do things like pot roast. You can do the poor man's brisket that I'm kind of doing. You can do a poor man's prime rib with chuck roast. I have a video on the channel about that. I did that with the beautiful Cindy DeManch was in town. We did a poor man's prime rib. That was fantastic using a chuck roast as well. You can do shredded beef. You can do burnt ends. You can do stew meat out of this. There's a lot of ways you can use a chuck roast, and you can usually get it in a very budget-friendly way. And I'm double checking my temperature on my chuck roast currently, and we are 2 degrees shy of where we need to be to go in there and pull it out. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. I love the fact that we can look at things like that wirelessly from the other room, so I can do my live stream and then keep an eye on that, and then I'll take you guys in the kitchen with me when I have to go pull it out and show you what we do next with it. It's going to be really cool. You're going to be the first people to see this. Okay, meat number 2 for budget-friendly stuff. We have the pork shoulder, or it's also called a Boston butt sometimes. This is one of the most cost-effective proteins that you can get at a grocery store. Anywhere on earth, this is usually one of the cheapest, and you get a really large yield from it, which is really good for big families. So we can do all kinds of stuff with this. We can do pulled pork, carnitas. You can cut pork steaks off of it. You can do cubed pork for stews. You can do slow roasted pork. You can do all kinds of stuff with this. One of my favorite things to do, I did pork carnitas tacos. I think I actually did that for one of my live streams, one of my Backstage with Chris live streams back in the day. But one of my favorite things to do is just take the pork, cut it up into big chunks, and throw it into a slow cooker right before I go to bed with whatever seasonings. and you wake up the next morning and the whole house smells like shredded pork, and you use forks and just shred that pork up. You can have that over something like my carnivore mashed potatoes. You can make carnivore tortillas. If you're keto, you can go get like the keto tortillas or keto bread if you want to do sandwiches. All kinds of ways of doing things with that, and it's really, really fantastic. So pork shoulder is one of those things that anytime they throw it on sale, even if I have no reason to, I'll go ahead and buy one, because when they throw it on sale, I'm getting like a whole pork shoulder for like $5 or $6, and it feeds 6 to 8 people. Like, it's fantastic. I love having a pork shoulder just kind of around in the freezer, ready to go anytime. And if you're not one of those people that eats pork, I get it. But if you can, it's really, really fantastic, and there's a lot of cool ways. So, by the way, as I'm going through this list, drop it in the chat. What are some of your favorite budget-friendly cuts of meat? What are ways you are saving money? What are the things you're getting from the grocery store that are inexpensive, budget-friendly, super tasty, that is helping your family through the holidays? I would love to know. Okay. Next on the list we have here bone-in chicken thighs and drumsticks. So dark meat is often very inexpensive, and if you get it bone-in like that, the chicken thighs and the drumsticks are very forgiving when you cook them. They are extremely budget-friendly, and they're really tasty. And I don't know if you guys know or not, but I did a boneless drumstick that I stuffed, where I show you how to actually debone a chicken drumstick and then put a stuffing on the inside of it. I did sausage and cheddar, but you could do a number of different things. I put a stuffing on the inside of it, and I used the Tasty air fryer, and I actually cooked it was not the Tasty air fryer. That was one I did in the Tyfer air fryer, but same difference. You could use either one. And I cooked those using a probe to help me track the internal cooking temperature. Did this cool video, and you can have these amazing boneless chicken drumsticks with a sausage and cheddar stuffing or whatever else you would like to put in there. Really fantastic. And because there's no bone, you just eat the whole thing minus the little nub at the end that you don't take out. That's a really cool thing to do. I also, if you go on my Facebook page, I put up a post showing a picture of what I made for dinner last night because I was feeling chefy. And I did these roasted chicken thighs where you sear them skin side down in a skillet until it's brown and crispy on that side. Then you flip them over and start cooking them lightly, and then the whole skillet, I've got skillets that have metal handles, the whole skillet goes in the oven, and you roast it at 425 until it is about 175 degrees all the way through that chicken thigh. And then I made some other stuff, but it's just this really cool way of getting that crispy skin and then roasting it to cook it through, and it keeps that skin crispy and dry as it's roasting. Unbelievable. There's all kinds of cool ways that you can use these bone-in chicken thighs and drumsticks. You can get these like anywhere from $1 to $1.30 a pound. That's pretty common around here in the grocery store. Maybe it's a little bit more where you are, a little less, not sure, but you can get them on sale. Get amazing sales. You also get skin and fat on these, so it's perfect when you're doing the carnivore macros where you're trying to get lots of protein and fats. It's a really, really good way to get a hold of some of those macros. Really, really cool and super, super cheap. Let's check on our... All right, we are at 202 degrees internal temperature on this chuck roast, and that is going to be close enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end that, and I'm going to take you guys with me. So hang on, we're going to go for a ride. We are going to go for just a little short ride. You guys are coming with me into the kitchen. So I have my filming setup going on, so you guys are going to kind of see. This is the perspective I have when I am filming. I've got all the stuff, right? All the stuff and the lights in my face and the things set up there for my camera, all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to set you guys right here, and I'm going to go grab my phone. Hang on. And I'm back. Can you imagine somebody popping into this live stream and they would see nothing but just the guitar that's up here in my kitchen and be like, What the heck is this live stream? This is the weirdest thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop my phone. You guys are going for another ride with me here for a second. I'm going to pop my phone into my little holder right here because I'm not going to have any audio on this, but I'm just going to get a little clip for you guys. Perfect, and we can turn that off. There we go, that way it's not beeping at you all. Okay, so I'm just gonna get a little clip of me doing this. So here's the thing about doing something like a fake brisket. You don't want to cut into it right away because it would totally ruin everything if you did. So here's what I'm actually going to do. I'm gonna set you guys right here so you can actually see this. We're going to pause our air fryer. And I am just going to rest this brisket inside a great big cooler. Now, this is way bigger than I would really need, but I need something that's as insulated as possible. And a cooler like this does a really great job. So, I'm just going to make sure that we are recording on the phone. And I'm going to move you guys here on the laptop outside of the, there we go, outside of the camera view. Make sure we're good over here. Yep, that'll do it. Slide the camera in just a little bit. See guys, this is all of the behind the scenes stuff. This is why this is Backstage with Chris, because people don't generally get to see me do all this kind of stuff. This is all of the behind the camera shenanigans that you're never a part of. So, all right. Let's see if we can't pull out an incredible brisket, fake brisket. And we'll get it, yep. And we'll get it set up here. Right. That's what it looks like before it goes into the cooler. It's all wrapped up. So that's going to go in there. And that's going to rest for 1 hour. So after this live stream, we will finish this video and we'll have dinner. And we stop the camera. We throw everything down. And then I can pull my phone back off of the tripod here. And I like being comfortable. So you guys get to come back to the living room with me. Okay. There you go, guys. That's one little glimpse into being Chris Cooking Nashville and what it is I am doing when I'm filming all of these videos. So if you have not been here and actually been in a video, that might look really wild to you, but but that might also be something that you have been involved in because I had a bunch of people here. So okay, let's see what you guys are talking about here in the chat before I get into my next cut of meat. Marie says, love the meat shirt. Thank you. This one is getting very large on me because I have lost weight, more weight, and it's very, very large. So I'm going to have to replace it. It's a good problem to have. Dustin says, I got a 25-pound chuck roll at Costco the other day, $5.49 a pound. That's a fantastic price. That's a great way to do that. Kathy is here, says hello from California. Good to see you, Kathy. Nike loves carnitas. Me too, my friend. Me too. And Dustin says carnitas are amazing for sure. Absolutely. Marie says chuck roast, chuck eye steak, and I always hit the manager special corner for discounted meats. Oh yeah, I live off manager specials. That's a great way to do it. Heidi is here, says hello Chris, so good to see you're live. Well, it's good to see you, Heidi. Thank you for joining. Stacy is here, says whole pork loin, thinly sliced, dredged in egg and pork panko to make chicken fried pork chops cooked in lard. 1.67 pound or 167 a pound for a whole loin. Yeah, pork loin is great. That's actually going to be on my list. We're going to talk about that here shortly. Great idea. Great idea, Stacy. Nike says Chuck Roast this week is buy one, get one 50% off. That's fantastic. Deborah's here, says boneless drumsticks. Yummy. I need to find that video. Yes, that is really good. In fact, let me go to my YouTube channel because I should know where that's at, and I will grab the link for it and I'll drop it in the chat for you guys. I can do that since I'm sitting here in front of a laptop doing this. Let's go to my channel and we're going to go to my videos, and it is right here. Let me grab the link, copy that, come back here, and there you go. There is the video for doing my boneless, deboned boneless chicken legs. They're fantastic. Absolutely love doing those. Marie wants to know, where's Ash? Ash is upstairs working. She has a bunch of stuff to get done. This is a very busy time of year for us because although musicians generally are not very busy in the holiday season, leading up to the holiday season, because both of us have social media accounts and all these different things we do, it's a lot. So we have a lot of stuff we're trying to get done in a very short time. Plus, I'm in the middle of writing the cookbook. We're almost done, ready to turn in the final rough draft manuscript of that. Yeah, so it's really crazy around here. So she is upstairs. She's trying to get stuff done. Her mom is also going to be here with us for the holidays for like 2 weeks. And my parents are going to be in town for part of the holiday season as well. And we just want to make sure everything is done so we can focus on family and not have to just be working the whole time everyone's here. So we're really busting it out. Ash is upstairs working hard, being gorgeous like always. Deborah Jones says, why use the cooler? Did I miss that? Yeah, the cooler is just there because it's insulating the brisket, or in this case, the chuck roast that I have in there. It's insulating it. And by insulating it and keeping it cooling down as slowly as possible, it lets all of the juices redistribute through the meat better, and it helps all of that collagen break down. So the thing we're looking for is the wobble. Okay, the wobble that you get from really good brisket when you've broken down the collagen, which happens between 202 and 203 degrees Fahrenheit. When you break all the collagen down and you cook it up to that temperature, and then you let it slowly come down in temperature by insulating it as best you can. A cooler, you can wrap it thickly in some towels, and that helps at least some. It just lets it rest and cool in a more gradual way. And because you're doing that, it helps those proteins stay nice and tender. All of that collagen relaxes. Everything gets wobbly, jiggly, and tender and juicy, and all the juices distribute back through the meat. It's the best thing in the world. So that's going to sit in there for at least 45 minutes, but better is an hour, and then I'll finish it in the air fryer when this live stream is over, and we'll have dinner. It's going to be great. Crow is here. Happy Monday. Good to see you, Crow. And Emily says, dry brine and some chicken drumsticks right now for hot chicken. Yes, if you guys have not seen my latest recipe video, it is southern fried chicken done carnivore style. And then I also show you how to turn it into Nashville hot chicken if you can handle all the spices. It is fantastic. Emily has been asking me for a version of this for like over a year. So I finally figured it out, got it for her, and it's going to be good stuff when she tries it, I think. So yeah, you guys want to see carnivore fried chicken, I'll go ahead, I'll just drop the link in the chat for you guys right here. Copy that, and if it doesn't jump on me, there it is. There you go. Carnivore fried chicken. Yes, it's real. Yes, I'm serious. And yes, it tastes better than almost any fried chicken I've ever had. I know good fried chicken. I grew up eating it all the time. So it's good fried chicken. And then you can turn it into Nashville hot. Because I'm Chris Cooking Nashville, why would I not do Nashville hot chicken with fried chicken? So Carnivore Farm Mom is here. I love that name. Hi, Chris. Hello, everyone. It's good to see you. So glad you are here. Let's see. Deborah says, thank you for dropping the video in the chat, Chris. You're very welcome. Marie can't wait for the cookbook. I know, me too. I'm so excited about it. Can't wait for you guys to be able to pre-order it and kind of know what's going on with it, because it's a lot of work but it's cool. I'm really excited about this. Heidi is excited for the cookbook as well. There's Brian. Hello, Brian. Says, hello, everyone. Crow says, I'm fasting today for at least 24 hours, maybe longer. See how it goes. Well, good for you, Crow. Good luck with that. Hope that goes well for you and you feel great. Excellent. Okay, so let's talk back about some of these more budget-friendly cuts here. Okay, so we're going to go back to where I was right here. Here we go. So number 4 on my list is whole chickens. You can almost always get chickens whole cheaper per pound than you can the parts because you're paying the butcher to cut them into pieces. You can get 3 different meals out of a single whole chicken. You can do roasted chicken, then you take the leftovers and you do pulled chicken, and then you take the bones and the carcass and you use my bone broth recipe, which I have a video for, and you do chicken bone broth. So you can get 3 different things out of that one roast chicken. And if it's only you by yourself, you get a lot of pulled chicken that you can have. Now you can turn that into a chicken salad. You can eat it just as pulled chicken that way. You can use chicken broth, the chicken bone broth, and you can throw the pulled chicken into it and turn it into like a chicken soup or a stew. You can do the blending up the eggs like I do for the cheeseburger soup, and you can make like a cheesy chicken soup. That would be super cool. There's all kinds of things you can do with chicken. You can also debone the entire chicken the way that I do when I make my roadkill chicken. So you leave the chicken whole, but you take all the bones out of it. It's really cool when you can do this. And it's not hard, it's just you have to know the right technique of how to get all the bones out and still leave the chicken in one piece. And then you can air fry that chicken, and then you have all the bones in the carcass that you can roast and turn into bone broth without it having to go through the cooking process first. So that's a really cool way of doing that. So whole chickens. Fantastic idea. Nike says, I made bone broth from the Thanksgiving turkey. Yeah, I did too. So what I did is I actually deboned our entire 23-pound turkey that we had at Thanksgiving for my whole family. And so I deboned it. I roasted all those bones. I turned that into turkey bone broth by cooking it for, I think it was almost 24 hours in a slow cooker that I cooked those bones, made a really rich bone broth, and then that's what I used to make our turkey gravy. Unbelievable. So good. Let's see. Ann is here. Hi, friends. Glad I could make it tonight. Good to see you, Ann. Really glad you're here. And Brian says, I'm working on a 72-hour water fast at 30 hours right now. Feeling great. Good for you, brother. I'm so glad to hear that. Okay. Number 5. Cut number 5. Ground beef. 80-20 or 73-27. Either one. This is the king of budget carnivore, right? Everyone talks about the cheap ground beef. You can do smash burgers, meatballs, taco-less taco bowls, or you can make my carnivore taco shells. You could do beef over my carnivore rice. You can do all kinds of things. And if you look for them, a lot of times around the holidays, they will throw a 10-pound chub of ground beef on sale at places that sell things like that. So you can get the big chub deals around the holidays because they know people are coming in to shop for big families and want big stuff at a discount. So go look for ground beef. It's one of my favorite things to keep around, and honestly, sometimes just air fryer burger patties are the greatest thing in the world. There's just nothing better when you really, really need it. So check that out. Okay, number 6, pork loin. We talked about this in the chat. I forget who it was, but someone mentioned pork loin. It's a fantastic idea. Extremely cheap, especially when they throw it on sale. Sometimes they throw it on sale, and it's like $1.20 a pound for around here. You can get it really, really cheap sometimes. You can slice this into chops. You can roast it whole. There's some different ways you can do that. If you want some tips on that, I can tell you how I do it. But I love pork loin. That's a fantastic budget-friendly option. This is really, really great if you do like keto marinades, or even if you're carnivore and you just want to do salt only. You can dry brine it, and you can marinate it, and you can roast it, and you can do all kinds of stuff. And there's actually a couple of pork chop recipes that are in my cookbook that are going to be coming up. So that's going to be really cool. I love using pork loin. Really, really good. Next is beef shanks. This is also known as ossobuco in a lot of places. Sometimes beef shanks can be very expensive, but if you watch for sales, You can sometimes find them dirt cheap. It just depends on the store you go to and how many people do or don't really seem to request them in your area. But shanks can be dirt cheap if you find them in the right places sometimes. So they're a slow cook meat, right? Like a pork, a pot roast would be, or like a braise kind of a thing. So you cook them slow and they fall apart and they turn into just amazing, like magical beef, truthfully. You can get shank steaks. You can do them in soups. You can get the bone marrow bonus that comes along with the little bit of bone marrow that's inside the center cut bone. Really, really cool. And honestly, it's an overlooked cut that a lot of people don't realize is so good. So if you learn how to cook them right, it's not hard. You just need to know a little technique. But if you learn how to cook them right, there's not much that's better than beef shanks and ossobuco type stuff. Like, absolutely incredible. You can also cook it until it's falling off the bone, and then pull it off the bone, kind of break it up into chunks, take the liquid that's cooked out of it. If you slow braised it, you cook it down until it's thick, and you mix the ossobuco back into it, and then you can put that like over my carnivore rice or my carnivore mashed potatoes, like a beef and gravy over potatoes or rice. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. Really, really good. Okay. I'm making myself hungry. Bacon ends and pieces is next. Usually these are about half the price of regular bacon. You have to look for a store that sells it. But the ends and pieces, you're not going to get big strips of bacon just, for half price. But what you can do with all those ends and pieces is cut them into chunks, and you can cook them until they get crispy, and you can put them along with other food. You can put them just over some carnivore rice, carnivore mashed potatoes, on some carnivore bread, and eat it that way, almost like a sandwich. Like, there's a lot of things you can do with bacon ends and pieces. Or you can chop it up and cook it down like little bacon bits that you would mix in with things. Like, there's a lot of ways to use bacon ends and pieces. Or just fry it like bacon and just eat bigger chunks of bacon. That's cool too. They don't look the prettiest, because they're not the really nice slices, but the ends and pieces are just as good. They're just the part that they couldn't slice cleanly because they were at the end of the pork belly. So get yourself some bacon ends and pieces. Those are a really fantastic way to save some money and get some really good stuff. It's really good for flavoring other meats. You can make your burgers juicier. You can put it as a topping on anything and save the bacon grease so that you can cook with it later. Next is turkey legs, thighs, and wings. Now, this is one that I've overlooked for a long time myself, which is why it kind of popped up when I was thinking about this, putting this together. But especially post-Thanksgiving, they tend to put these things on a major clearance because they ordered all these turkey thighs and legs and wings and stuff for people to have gravy or, make it for their family if they don't want to deal with the whole turkey or whatever. And then if they're left over, they got to get rid of them so they don't just have to throw them away and lose money. They want to make a little money off of it, right? So you can get really good clearance deals after Thanksgiving, between like Thanksgiving and Christmas on this, and especially after Christmas too. There's a huge yield from these. There's a lot of meat on turkey thighs and legs and wings, even though we don't really think about them that much. And they're really tender, especially if you slow bake or slow roast, or if you pressure cook them. Because they're dark meat, you can cook them to a higher temperature and they will take it. So you can do some really cool stuff. You can do a confit with turkey. The wings and the legs and the thighs are really, really good when you confit. If you don't know what confit is, go and Google that afterwards. But it's basically cooking it slow in fat. Incredible. Shredding it up, it's just absolutely amazing. So some turkey confit from that stuff would be incredible and very, very cheap. Number 10 is canned seafood. Now, I know a lot of us aren't necessarily into a lot of the canned seafood stuff, but this can actually be really good if you know what to do with it. And it is very cheap. It is shelf stable, of course. That's always nice. It's really great for keto carnivore hybrid type dishes. Sardines and tuna, salmon, mackerel. Dr. Barry talks about these all the time, especially things like the canned sardines and that kind of stuff he talks about loving. So it's really good. You can take this, mix it with mayo, my spreadable butter mayo, and some egg, maybe some pork rind crumbs, or you can use my crab cake mixture. I have crab cake video, carnivore crab cakes. Make a mixture like that, and you can fry seafood patties. Well, it doesn't have to be crab. You can do tuna patties or salmon patties, and you can use that mixture I have, or just throw in some pork panko and some eggs and just get it enough that it'll hold together. It's like, it depends on how you want to do it, but you can fry this up into patties. And you can also do things like add this into your eggs or make omelets out of it, or just put it over top of other things. There's a lot of ways to use canned seafood, and you can get really good protein, really good for you, really cheap, and that's great. Okay, number 11 is not going to be popular. I know. Beef liver and organ meats. I know a lot of people don't like this stuff, but just hear me out here. This is the cheapest nutrient-dense food in the store. And I know maybe you don't like liver. Okay, it's got a strong flavor, and I like that flavor, but if you don't, totally understand it. Not everybody likes that flavor. I get it. That's okay. However, it is the most nutrient-dense food. If you do like it, feel free. However, there are other meats that are organ meats that are cheaper that are not necessarily strong tasting. Well, go watch the video where I did the mystery cut 3 different ways, and it turned out to be a beef heart. And Ash ate all 3 of them and loved all 3 of them and had no idea it was beef heart even when she tried it the first time. She's like, it just tastes like steak. Yes, beef heart done really well tastes like steak. And you can sometimes get very, very budget-friendly beef heart. Depends on where you go. Sometimes it can be expensive. Sometimes it's cheap. But beef liver, beef heart, these different kinds of organ meats, you can watch for them to be on sale especially. You can get some really cheap food real good that way. Let's see. Ann says, man, you make everything sound so easy, Chris. Well, I do this a lot, so yeah, I'm sure I probably make it seem easy sometimes just because I do it so much, but you guys can do it too. That's why I'm here. I'm teaching you how to do it, right? Deborah eats ground beef 90% of the time. Yep, I eat lots of ground beef too. Peggy has beef bone broth she made last week sitting frozen out on the back deck. That's cool. Gotta love it when you get free refrigeration from Mother Nature, right? Carnivore Farm Mom says, hungry now. Thanks, Chris. That's my job. I gotta keep you going. Keeping you hungry. Kara Judd is here. Hi, Kara. Says hello from Knoxville, Virginia. It's good to see you, my friend. Brian says, my wife made friends with the store clerks, and they let her know when stuff is put on clearance and the sales. That's fantastic. Go make friends with the clerks at your store, the butcher in the meat department, like all these kinds of stuff. Like, go make friends with them. It's a really good thing to do. And does anyone add water to bacon when they cook it? I do, and boy howdy is it good. I did a video where I did all the different ways that I've seen to cook bacon to figure out what our favorite was, and we did the water bacon. I was not a fan of it. When I did it back to back with multiple other kinds, I found that it actually took a lot of the flavor out. If you love it, then that's fantastic. Do it all day long. I just was not a fan of it. I've done it, and we tested it with multiple other ways, cooking them all back to back to back. Ash and I both said, honestly, cooking this back to back with all the others, it doesn't have as much flavor, and we didn't care for it. So I'm glad you like it. I'm just not a fan myself personally. Marie says, we've got a 13-pound turkey for $6 at Costco after Thanksgiving. Yeah, that's fantastic. You get some great deals on turkey right after Thanksgiving. I still have one in the freezer because it's from when I got it for free last year. The one that we had for Thanksgiving this year, I got that one on a really stupid price. It's like $23 or 23 pounds, and I think I got that turkey for like $7 or $8 because it was on an after Thanksgiving sale last year. So I used it this year. Nike says, I prefer cooking bacon low and slow in a skillet. Yeah, I bet you like crispy bacon, don't you, Nike? Yeah, that's the way. If you want to get it like super crisp all the way through, that low and slow is the way to do it. Carnivore Farm Mom says, liver. Liver is delicious and dirt cheap. Yes, I agree. I like liver. Ash does not even consider going near liver, and I understand that. I get it. I love some liver, but some people love it and some don't, but if you can do it, it sure is cheap, and I think it's awfully good. Brian likes beef heart. Nike says, a pickled deer heart's from the deer we harvest. That's really cool. I've never had pickled deer heart. I have to give that a try. And Nike says, depends on how thick the bacon is, how crispy I want it. Probably 35 minutes low and slow. That's cool. Hey, there's Coach Lisa with Lifeback System. Says, hey, brother. Hey, Coach Lisa. How are you? Just got done with our Zoom and caught you live. Well, thanks for popping in, Lisa. It's good to see you. Okay, meat number 12, country style ribs. Who here has had country style ribs? Drop it in the chat if you know what those are. Country style ribs, you can usually get these under $2 a pound. That's about what they are here most of the time. And honestly, I think they're better than regular ribs by the time you cook them properly. So you can slow roast, you can do them with sauces the same way you would regular ribs, but they have more meat than traditional ribs because there's no bones. And they're really cheap and they're really delicious and they get real tender, fall apart, tasty, and juicy. And if you want some keto barbecue sauce to put on them, guess what's going to be in my video with this fake brisket that I'm figuring out how to finish up tonight. I'm going to show you guys my keto barbecue sauce as well. Really, really great. Great stuff. Country style ribs, lots of ways to do it. You don't have to put sauce on them. They're great just as they are with some seasonings or just some salt and just slow roasted till they're tender. So good. Okay, next. Eggs. Eggs. This is the best cost to protein ratio on earth. Okay? I don't even need to probably go down the list of all the different things you can do with eggs. I mean, scrambling them, frittatas, omelets, egg-based sauce, custards, the gravies that I do, my cheeseburger soup. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And they're great for feeding your family and especially kids on a budget. Lots of people like eggs. You can do so many things with eggs. That's why eggs are in so many of my recipes, because they are the most unique ingredient in the kitchen, in my opinion. They are liquid when they're raw, they are solid when they're cooked, and they have different textures that you can get from them based on how you cook, when you cook, what temperature you cook, and you can mix them in with other things to affect the texture of other stuff. I mean, it is a miracle ingredient to have an egg in a recipe. It is one of the most diverse things in a kitchen, and it's incredible. And they're cheap for the fat and the protein that you get out of them, especially if you can get like pastured eggs or like really good ones with high nutrients. Even the cheap ones, though, are still a superfood. So eggs are fantastic. Excuse me. I put together some optional keto items. I know a lot of people that follow me are carnivore, but in case you're one of the keto people, let's talk about a few that are some things to look into here. Zucchini. Cheap and low carb. You can make zoodles, the zucchini noodles. You can shave the zucchini with a vegetable peeler to do that. You don't have to buy some expensive thing. Go look at the post that I put up of the chicken thigh I was telling you guys about on my Facebook page. I put it over a bed of steamed zucchini noodles that I made with a vegetable peeler because I just wanted it to be fun. You can roast it. You can use it as a bed for meats like I did with that chicken. There's all kinds of ways to have it, but zucchini is fantastic, and it's usually really cheap. Onions, they are dirt cheap for keto cooking. Now, you don't want to go eating pounds and pounds of onions because they do have a lot of sugar if you do that. However, a little bit of them, if you eat things like that, are fine, and you can caramelize them and get great holiday flavors from them. It adds so much depth to things like your roasts and your soups and your gravies and your meat dishes and stuff. Onions are such a fantastic ingredient in the kitchen. Chefs love them. Cabbage. One of the cheapest foods in the store. You can use them for keto stir fries. You can do carnivore like meat heavy casseroles. Those kinds of things. You can make meals stretch if you include things like this. Cabbage is real cheap for the amount of it that you get, and tastes really good if you know what you're doing with it. So if you don't mind having the veggies in there occasionally, cabbage is a really good budget-friendly option. Mushrooms. Unfortunately, I don't really get many mushrooms around here because Ash is allergic to them, and I don't ever want to make her sick. So I'm very careful about when I bring in mushrooms. But I love mushrooms, and on the rare occasion that I do decide to include them, I really enjoy how they are. They're cheap. They're kind of a meaty texture and sort of have an umami flavor. They taste fantastic. They're great for keto people that are in kind of a mixed household. Keto, carnivore, standard American diet, whatever. Mushrooms kind of bridge the gap for a lot of people, or are easy to add into something if you want just a little bit of something else. So, let's see here. Let's just jump into the comments for a second. Hey, there's Sherry Nevada Pup. OMG, I totally forgot it was Monday. Hello, CCN fam. Good to see you, Sherry. Glad you're here. And Russell Joyner is here. Good to see you, Russell. He says, does it really make a difference if you have large, extra large, or medium eggs for eating? Russell, the only time that would make a difference is if you are following a recipe for something like egg white breads or a custard or something like that, where it's really finely tuned and balanced. If you have a large egg to a medium egg, it's going to be close. If you have an extra large egg to a large egg, it's like if the recipe calls for a large egg. If you use a medium or an extra large, depending on how sensitive that recipe is, it may or may not make a difference. If you have to use 2 or 3 eggs and you're supposed to be using large, but instead you use extra large or you use medium, that may throw your ratios off a little bit. If you have a recipe that uses extra large eggs for some reason and you're using medium eggs, that's probably going to throw things off. So it just kind of depends on the recipe you're using them in. As far as you eating them yourself, it's not going to make a bit of difference. You enjoy whatever you want. But if you're doing a really finely balanced recipe and it says large eggs, try to use large eggs and figure out how touchy that recipe is to it being exact. And if you can get away with medium or extra large on those recipes, cool. Some of them that are very delicate in terms of their balance and their ratios, though, extra large or medium eggs instead of a large egg, it might mess with it. So it kind of depends on the recipe. But as far as you eating them, enjoy. Whatever you can find on sale is great. I always cook with large eggs. All of my recipes are made with large eggs just because that's what I can get most readily. And so I just write my recipes for those. It's what most people seem to have access to the most easily. So, but yeah, large eggs. It's a great way to do it. Number 5 on the keto thing, and this is actually in the carnivore side too, depending on how much dairy you do or don't include, block cheeses. It's cheaper than shredded. It does not have the potato starch or the weird things that they sometimes coat it in to keep shredded cheese from clumping. It's high fat and protein if you can handle the dairy and you can use it as kind of a treat or something you're not just binging on daily. And it's really great for large families because when you got a big block of cheese and you got a whole bunch of kids, give everybody a little bit of cheese, everybody's happy with, whatever it is you're having for dinner. That helps a lot. So that's a really cool thing. That's kind of my list, guys, of all the budget-friendly foods. Are there any that I missed that you can think of, or things that really stood out to you of like, oh, I didn't think about that one? Drop that in the chat and let me know. I've got just a few tips for stretching your meals as you get ready to go do all of this. So, first is to cook once and eat 3 times, okay? And what I mean by this is do things like take roasts. I just did a tasty air fryer video a couple of weeks ago with doing a budget-friendly beef that is done as a roast in the air fryer, so it's easy. And you can very easily turn that into multiple meals. So if you make a roast, you have roast for dinner, turn the leftover into sandwiches or bowls or soups. If you use like the keto bread or if you make my carnivore bread, you get so many options. And you can use this as leftover meals. So you can sort of upcycle your leftovers from things like roast. So you can cook once and eat like 2 or 3 times off of a single meal. That's a really great way to do it, especially when you find things on sale and you can get it in a larger amount. Make it and then have it last for a bit. Next is save every scrap of fat that you get, right? Drippings, any rendered fat, things from the bottom of your air fryer, whatever. You can use this to do things like fry eggs, roast veggies if you're keto. You can use it to enrich ground meat. So if you grind up lean beef or something and you want to add a little bit extra fat to it, you can put in some extra fat into a mixer. There's a lot of ways to do this kind of stuff. Pressure cook the bones. Okay, lots of savings and extra meals here. Take your bones, pressure cook them. You can use the pressure cooker, slow cooker, whatever. But I have a video on how to roast bones and make them into bone broth. If the bones are already cooked because you cooked like whole chicken on the bone and you want to just save the carcass or the leg bones or whatever, you can do the exact same thing. You don't have to roast them nearly as long, but you can roast them and get them a little more brown. Do that. Make bone broth and turn that into gravies and just drink it by itself. Soups. There's all kinds of stuff you can use that bone broth for. And then you get all of the vitamins and the minerals and the nutrients from those bones that have cooked out as well. That video is on my channel. Holiday freezer stock ups, okay? Right now is one of the best times to get meat in bulk because stores have all these specials and deals and all this kind of stuff. And if they don't sell out of all of it, they have these things left over and they have to put things on sale. So watch the grocery stores all around the holidays, and when things go on stupid sales, buy it, throw it in the freezer, and stock up on it because it will save you money later. So, guys, that's all of my tips. What did I miss? What are you guys thinking? Do you have anything to offer to this? I'm going to pop over here into the chat and say hello to a few folks and see if there's anything that we are missing. There's my brother Dennis. He's down in Texas visiting family, and he says, hi from Alba, Texas. Brian says, my wife hates liver. Threats have been made. I like liver ground in ground beef with onions, garlic, and cabbage. Yeah, I like liver, and I grind it up and put it into beef sometimes too. Ash doesn't do it. She does not want to eat it. But, you know, that's cool. We make it work. But, yeah, I really appreciate the ability to have that, but I also appreciate that she does not want it. So I think it's great. I think she's missing out, but she doesn't agree, and that's okay. Let's see. Emily says, we used to fry, braise, cabbage with apple cider vinegar, pepper, and bacon. Yeah, so if you had liquid in there, you were probably braising it or slow simmering or something like that. But yeah, you can use apple cider vinegar and pepper and bacon like that and cook it down and get this kind of tender, bacony cabbage. It's actually very similar to the way the Irish handle cabbage. They do like cabbage and potatoes and bacon, and it's called colcannon. It's unbelievable, but you can totally do the low carb kind of thing with like cabbage, and the vinegar is nice. It takes some of the nose issues out of the cabbage and makes it taste really nice. Pepper, bacon, great ideas. Great ideas. Lewis Stone is here. Says, howdy, y'all. I heard Chris mention cheap several times. I thought he was calling my name. You're funny, Lewis. Love you. Let's see. Peggy says, gizzards? Yes, gizzards are another great option. If you can enjoy that texture. I'm not a huge fan of the texture of gizzards. I like chicken livers. Gizzards kind of throw me off a bit, but, you know, my grandma used to love them. And because I have a fried chicken recipe that's out now, you can go make fried chicken livers and fried chicken gizzards exactly like you make your fried chicken, and you can go do all of that. That whole chicken I was talking about, cut it up into pieces and go make fried chicken with my new chicken recipe. There you go. Fried chicken on a carnivore diet. Who thought? And not the kind that's covered in pork rinds that everybody says, it's fried chicken. No, that's not fried chicken. I'm not saying it doesn't taste good. It does not taste like Southern fried chicken. Mine tastes like Southern fried chicken. Carnivore Farm Mom says, cheese. Yes, I love cheese. Sherry says, if I get less than large eggs with my fresh eggs from the farm, I save those for when I make eggs for me and don't use them in a recipe. That's a great idea. That's a great way to do that, especially when you're getting eggs that maybe come in various sizes because they're like fresh from a farm. So, perfect idea, Sherry. Emily says, Peggy, I get gizzards for my cat and my dad's dog sometimes. We feed them to Mel every single week. She loves them. Lisa says, absolutely love bone marrow butter. So good. Yes. I have a roasted bone marrow recipe in my cookbook and spread that on my carnivore flatbread. Oh, man, is it good. So good. I love bone marrow. Holly says, Peggy, the only thing I've ever bought in catfish or bought chicken gizzards for is for catfish bait. I love the fact that you're talking about catfish, and that's great, Holly. I love it. If you guys watch in the store, sometimes catfish goes on sale too. Not the cleanest of fish, but, you know, hey, if you're in a pinch, why not? Let's see. Peggy, I bought my first block of raw cheese and raw butter a couple weeks ago. Very good. The cheese is gone, but still have some butter left. Peggy, that's great. It's fantastic. I'm glad you found a source for that. Diana is here. Any recommendations for cooking chicken livers? Yes, Diana. Go to my channel here on YouTube. Looks like you're watching on Facebook. So go to YouTube, go to Chris Cooking Nashville, and the most recent video just came out a couple of days ago is carnivore fried chicken. Make that batter. You can make a small amount of it because chicken livers wouldn't take near as much. Make that batter, and you don't even have to have a whole pot full of like fat to fry them in, just a little bit like bacon grease or something in a skillet. Use that batter in that like I do my fried chicken, and do fried chicken livers. Dip them in some ranch dressing. That's the way you do it. There's a recipe for fried chicken hearts that's going to be in my cookbook where I do the exact same thing. I bread them in that mixture, fry them, and I dip them in like a country ranch made with my spreadable butter mayo made from poached eggs. So good. So good. Crow still needs a recipe for a keto crispy taco shell. Well, I have a carnivore recipe for one on my channel. You can go watch my video for crispy taco shells. Carnivore Farm Mom, crispy gizzards. I love roasting gizzards in the fat in the pan alongside of a chicken. That's cool. That's cool. I like that. Peggy, I cooked gizzards a couple of days ago. First pressure cooked them in my foodie, then put batter on some, and I ate them without a coating. Pressure cooking of 8 minutes makes them tender. I'll have to try that. I've never done them in a pressure cooker, Peggy. So it's also been a number of years since I've had gizzards, so I might have to give them a try. Carnivore Farm Mom wants to try them too. Says gizzards now, Peggy, please. Brian says he saw a recipe for bone marrow mayo. Looks good. That would probably be really good. You'd have to have a lot of bone marrow, I bet, but I don't know. Depends. That's awesome, though. I bet that would be so good. Diana says thank you. You're welcome. Well, guys, that's my list. Thank you guys for hanging out. I hope this is helpful for you before the holidays, and this is kind of a weird backstage with Chris with my laptop, but thank you for hanging out as I was finishing up my recipe tonight. I hope that was cool and you guys got to, kind of see a little behind the scenes there. Be watching for that video, not this coming Saturday, but the next Saturday. This coming Saturday is something real special. It's it's a keto bloomin' onion and a carnivore bloomin' ribeye based off of the idea of the bloomin' onion. That's all I'm going to say because it's incredible. It might be the best steak I've ever eaten. It's stupid how good this was. And it was totally a wild, harebrained idea featuring a knife company that sent me a set of knives called Hoshanho. So shout out to them. Super sharp knives. You guys will learn more about it in the video. But man, was this recipe incredible for both the keto bloomin' onion and the carnivore bloomin' ribeye. I cannot wait to show you guys this. Unbelievable. And I'm going to show you how to make the bloom seasoning and the bloom sauce so you can do bloomin' whatever you want. Show you how I fry these and everything. So it's going to be really, really good. You guys are going to like that. You can do it to chicken. You can do it to pork. You can do it to steak, any of it. So you guys hang on for that one coming this Saturday. But appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Sherry says, glad I caught at least a small part of the live. Now I'm going to head back to the beginning and watch it all. Have a great evening. Good to see you, Sherry. And Emily says, Outback could never. Yeah, that's for sure. And Brian says, everyone have a great night. Peggy says, can't wait. Well, guys, thank you for hanging out. I love every single one of you. Keep an eye on the channel. Lots of announcements coming. It's going to be great. Thank you for hanging out backstage with me. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you very soon. This is Chris Cookin' Nashville. Eat your meat. Love your life. And I'll see you guys backstage real soon for a bunch of craziness. You guys have a great night and great week. Bye.